Hello, my name is Brad and I'm here to talk to you about raptors and their conservation, and how can we better preserve raptors. First off, let's start with the basics. What is a raptor? Raptor is defined by a bird of prey that has a very sharp, curved beak, very long, sharp, curved talons, and incredible eyesight. And although all raptors have these individual traits, they all have traits that are specific to them to fit their environment. Owls, for instance, have silent flight. Peregrine falcons' wings are aerodynamically shaped so they can be faster when they're diving. Hawks have wings that help them soar better in the sky. Ospreys' feet or talons have spicules that help them catch their prey. Vultures, especially the skull of this turkey vulture, has nares on it that help it smell its prey. Now, although all these raptors have their individual adaptations to help them fit into their environment, we humans have interfered with their environment, and we've actually caused a very big problem with them and their integration into our environment. A big problem with raptors is that a lot of them are hit by cars. Birds like the red-tailed hawk and this great horned owl are hit by cars very commonly because they are attracted to mice, and that's their food. And mice are attracted to litter and trash that is on the side of the road. So when we throw out a banana peel or an apple core or French fries, the mice are attracted to the food, and these guys are attracted to the mice, and they're not going to look left and right before they cross the street, which leads to the raptors getting hit by cars. Another big thing that causes raptors to get injured or even killed sometimes is illegal hunting. Raptors such as the great horned owl are sometimes hunted because of their feathers, because of their beauty, and they're also sometimes hunted because people think that they're destroying the populations of their game bird populations, which they're actually not. Because raptors are indicator species, and they help with the overall health of the environment. Raptors will kill off and eat old birds of a game bird species, old weak birds of a game bird species, injured birds of a game bird species, and they keep the overall prey bird species population in healthy condition. Another big problem that started in the early 1940s was DDT. DDT is an insecticide that causes calcium depletion in insects. But when those insects are eaten by birds, and those birds are eaten by raptors, the calcium depletion causes their eggs to be thinner walled and much easier to break. So birds would commonly lay on their eggs and they would break, and it caused a major decline in populations of peregrine falcons, bald eagles, and osprey. In India, vultures are being currently harassed by a new synthetic drug called diclofenac. Diclofenac is an anti-inflammatory drug that is used to extend the lives of cattle for farmers so they can get more milk out of their cattle. But what ends up happening is that the drug, when the cattle die, finally, the drug is still in the cow when the cattle is put out to pasture for the vultures to eat. When the vultures ingest the diclofenac, it actually is very harmful and very poisonous to them, and it can cause kidney failure and almost instantaneous death. This is causing severe population decline in vultures all across India, and now in the European Union, where diclofenac was just made legal for farmers to use on their livestock. Osprey suffer very severely from fish hook implantation in fish. When fishermen hook fish and the line breaks, the fish hook stays in that fish. Or even when fishermen take line and they get the line caught in a tree and it stays up there, that can get ingested by osprey, and when those hooks go down their digestive system, it's very, very harmful, and it can cause severe injury and even death. Another problem that affects osprey is lead sinkers. Lead sinkers are very, very poisonous to them, and when fish ingest sometimes lead sinkers, sometimes lead in the water body itself, it's ingested into the fish, it can cause severe, severe injury to the osprey that are ingesting those fish, and can cause ingestion problems and ingestion poisoning. Another thing that's greatly affecting raptors and their conservation is deforestation. A lot of forests like this one would be clear cut in other countries in order to make space for fields and for farmland, as well as to use the trees to make paper and wood chips. And that destroys a lot of the habitat for these raptors and for these birds. So now that I've said all this really sad things about raptors and how we harm them, we ask the question, how can we help them? How can we better conserve the raptor population? And there are a few things that we can do to help them and to better their lives. First off, if you're ever on the road, you have some trash or just some litter, make sure you throw it out in a trash can and don't throw it out the window. That will severely, severely reduce the number of raptors that are hit by cars daily. When you are using pesticides and insecticides in your lawn, try to make sure that it's a natural pesticide. We did get rid of DDT in the 1970s, but it is still a major problem in areas like South America and Africa, and the residual effect of the pesticide on this country still exists. Doing it for so long, for those 40 years, has created such a widespread impact that it still hurts our raptors today. So making sure that we don't have another DDT incident. When you're using fishing line and fishing gear, make sure that you know where your fishing gear is going and that you have control of it. Make sure that it's not getting caught in trees. I don't know if you can really help if your line gets snapped off in a fish's stomach, but try to minimize that. Another thing you can do to help save raptors, and especially osprey, is to not use lead sinkers when you're fishing. Use graphite sinkers and use more stable metals when you're fishing. Another thing you can do to help with the raptors in their rapid habitat decline is to put up bird boxes like this one. That helps give them a place to live, and it helps them to give them a place to stay when they're forced out of their previous habitat and the previous environment. Thank you. I hope you received a good message from this. And most of all, tell the world. Tell your friends and your family and your other relatives that what they can do to help save the raptors and better conserve their population.